Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. This is AAC and Beyond, holistic support for stroke survivors and brain injury survivors. I'm Mike Board. I'm Director of Product for Lingraphica. I've been with Lingraphica for about 5 years, and there I'm responsible for creating our product vision and strategy and helping to bring products to market. I oversee a team that works on design, content, research, training, and support. And I work closely with our community of users, caregivers, and clinicians to make sure that we're collecting feedback at all stages of development. We really want to make sure that we're creating products that users love, but also that are very inclusive of all of our users' needs. That said, like I just mentioned, this is my disclosure. I do receive a salary from Lingraphica. I am a full-time employee there. If it's a surprise, it shouldn't be. This is a product demo. I know it kind of has more of an educational kind of spin to it, but we are mostly going to be covering Lingraphica devices today. And namely, I'm really excited to talk about Hub, which is our brand new platform. And that will be the focus of today's presentation. Nonetheless, I do want to make sure that everybody here walks away with a couple of learning objectives. I know those are very important to a lot of the attendees. So I'm going to give you 3 to ponder as I'm going through this demo. The first one is describe 2 built-in tools on Lingraphica AAC devices that support participation and engagement. The second one is to discuss 3 features of Lingraphica's language system that can be modified and personalized for users with differing communication needs. And the third is to identify 2 ways a device can be used 2 ways a device user can use a Lingraphica device to practice their speech and communication. So to start with, just a little bit about Lingraphica. Lingraphica helps people with speech and language impairments to improve their communication, speech, quality of life. It was founded in 1990, and our first communication device was really based on the work of Dr. Richard Steele, who's one of our founders, actually still works part-time at the company. And he piloted some of the first studies in the benefits of computer-based communication systems in persons with severe aphasia during the decade prior. So our roots are really in working with stroke and traumatic brain injury survivors. And over the last 3 decades, the company has really grown and evolved to work with users with other diagnoses and offer far more than just AAC devices. In fact, today we offer a wide range of communication apps, therapy software, training, education, and even online communities for emotional support. In all, over the last 3 decades, we've placed tens of thousands of dedicated devices. Our apps have been downloaded several million times around the world, and we host hundreds of thousands of users annually on our properties online. So here's a question I get very often. Why should we work with Lingraphica? Well, I'm going to say, probably I'm a little bit biased, but I think we have wonderful products. But beyond that, I really think it's about the services that we provide. So to start with, I'm speaking to you, those of you who are clinicians mostly, but if you have somebody on your caseload who'd be a good fit for our device, we generally ship you a device within 2 business days. And trials themselves can be conducted virtually within just a few short weeks. The funding process, really intimidating, right? There's a lot of moving parts and a lot that you have to know. And we really hold your hand through that entire process. We work with Medicare, Medicaid, VAs, commercial insurance, and we have alternative funding sources that we've worked with in the past too. And we make sure, again, just to guide you through the entire process from start to finish, just to minimize, and in some cases, and actually most cases, eliminate any out-of-pocket costs for users and their families. Lastly, there's just a lifetime of care and support that comes with working with Lingraphica. This includes services that are very standard. Of course, we have a knowledge base and a great product support team. But in addition to that, we also help you to personalize your user's vocabulary on the device. We provide communication coaching sessions so that after you've given your user their device and they go home, we make sure that they're continuing to use that device in their daily life. And, we really like to think of that as helping to provide a little bit of a continuum of care for our users. And then users we most commonly serve. Again, we have our roots in stroke and aphasia, but we also help users with traumatic brain injury, primary progressive aphasia, dementia, apraxia, dysarthria, Parkinson's, autism, developmental disabilities, head and neck cancers, and laryngectomies. So just something to be aware of. I love this slide because I think it just shows you how far technology has come over the last few decades, but it also gives you a little bit of an insight into our roots. So on the left, you've got our solution circa 1990, and then you have the present-day solution. And one of the things that we have found as an organization and working closely with our users is that one of the most critical things is to keep the interface simple and uncluttered, really reducing the cognitive load on our users. So our users can easily express a thought or convey a need by tapping on an icon and have an entire phrase spoken aloud for them. Icons and folders can be arranged by category to support life participation and activities of daily living, and they're represented through concrete imagery. Our icons and folders are very customizable, and we allow users to change the text, use their own images, rearrange the content. It goes on and on. So we really believe in personalization and making sure that the user can kind of make the device their own. Alternatively, our users can express themselves through a whiteboard. For those who have intact writing skills, we offer a simple type-to-speech application and so on. So I'm saying this because we've taken these exact same principles and we've really carried them over into our new solution that's called Hub. And Hub is launching next month. And really our primary goal here is to focus on user experience. It incorporates mounds of improvements that are based on insights that we've gotten from working with end users, caregivers, and SLPs over the years. We have a far more intuitive and user-friendly interface, improved accessibility features, and it really allows us to lay the foundation for innovation in the future. So that said, just before I switch over to my other screen and give you a walkthrough of Hub, I'm just going to give you a shameless plug. So please come over if you have any questions over to booth 317. We'd be happy to walk you through what it's like to work with us, sign you up for a product demo, send you on your way with a ton of candy. Please take it because otherwise we all have to eat it, and I may not fit into this t-shirt next year if I end up eating all that candy. Anyway, let's show you Hub. Just bear with me. I'm just going to go full screen here. Okay, so this is the homepage of Hub. And one of the reasons we decided to name our new platform Hub is because it really brings together all of Lingraphica's products and services. We've got 4 primary communication applications that you can see on the screen: talk, type, draw, and media. And I'll launch into those in just a little bit, and we'll kind of go through those. And then we also have some of our other services. So we've got access to our online therapy application. So if I just tap on therapy, I go to a site, and it's just going to take a little bit of time to load because of the Wi-Fi in here. I apologize. But while it's loading, therapy is an online platform that provides access to thousands of exercises designed to address speech, language, and cognition. So we offer really hundreds of videos for articulation, oral motor, and our users can either kind of take their own self-guided journey through some of these applications, or in some cases they can be assigned by the SLP. So you can kind of keep working together even when the user has their permanent device. Given how slow the Wi-Fi is, I'm not going to launch this next couple of applications, but I'll talk through them. So the next one is called News, and News delivers some of the latest stories from around the world. And you can have those read out loud. There's some nice highlighting activity in there. And we provide quizzes for comprehension. We also offer a couple of community-based products that are geared toward emotional support. So Connect, here on the bottom right corner, is a community-based platform that brings together people through video-based online meetups facilitated by speech-language pathologists and other communication experts. We offer several meetups that take place several times a day, 7 days a week. And we're really there to offer emotional support, education, and a chance to practice communication, discuss interests, hobbies, and even talk about challenges that are faced by the community. In our other community product, we just offer a lot of educational resources, especially for people with aphasia. So we have some educational courses, some videos, and we've got a couple of forums there where people can communicate with one another. In addition to that, we've built in some utilities. So you can see we've got some very familiar things like Zoom, Chrome, and email. We believe very strongly that our users should be able to communicate with their friends and family on our device. And lastly, if you've completed a trial with us, we can actually unlock this tablet for you. And there you'll have access to the rest of the tablet, and you can kind of use it like a regular device if you so choose to. Navigation is very intuitive, as you can see. So I'm just using these arrows on the left and right. I can use these page indicators to navigate. It's a lot like a tablet experience. I can even swipe back and forth. Many of our users can actually directly select the options. Some users use styluses just to make the task a little bit easier. But we also support a lot of external devices like a standard mouse, a head mouse, a joystick, crosshair scanning for users that need a couple of alternative access options. Over on the top, we've got our info bar. So I can actually just tap on one of those. You probably can't hear it in the audience, but we can actually speak the date out loud. That's really helpful for a lot of stroke survivors. Helps to orient them. Everything is readily on the on the screen, as you can see. We've got access to our volume button. This is a really nice feature, I think. You don't have to physically change anything on the device itself. Everything is just there. And if you need access to some of that support and the services I was discussing earlier, you can see it's right there on the page as well. Another thing I really love about Hub is how customizable it is. So you can see I can just go into the settings, and here's a grid. And you can see I can make these app tiles bigger or smaller. And then if you've got a user with a visual field cut, we can actually change the alignment all the way over to the left, so it's a little bit easier for them. Okay, I know I'm kind of running short on time, so I'm going to get into talk now. So the way that talk works is users can communicate through these pre-programmed folders and cards. And we've organized this based on topic. And our belief is that we should really make communication very fast and seamless and not put too much of the burden on the user. So if I go into my fast talk folder, you could see I've got a couple of cards here based around communication. I can quickly tap one and have that thought expressed. All right. And everything is really customizable. So I'm just going to show you an example of a user, a fictional user that is based on one of our real users. We're going to call him David. So if David wants to communicate about himself, he's going to go into the About Me folder. He can tap a card to introduce himself to the people he's communicating with. He can let them know he's using an AAC device, ask them for a little bit of grace as he's communicating. He can communicate about his interests. All right, so David's interests, not surprisingly, similar to mine. He loves streaming media. He loves audiobooks, and he loves Sudoku. And here's a feature I think is really nice. So David can actually launch his Sudoku puzzles right from within there. So I just tapped on that. We have the ability to launch into Chrome. Again, I apologize for the spotty Wi-Fi, but this is going to open a website where he can instantly, assuming he's got good Wi-Fi, play a little bit of Sudoku. So it really helps with that live participation side of things. If David wants to add more content onto here, let's say he's a fan of beer. Who isn't? He can just search for that, he or maybe his communication partner. And we can quickly add that right onto the screen, just like that. All right, from there, David can navigate back a couple of steps. And you can see that we've got an entire card library. Again, this is all highly customizable. So if David wants to communicate about certain things, he can just navigate through his folder, or we can kind of rearrange this content, bring it more to the forefront so that it's a little bit easier for him. Personally, I love the daily activities folder. I see our users get a lot of use out of this one. Even something as simple as communicating about meals, something that a lot of us take for granted. All the expressions are here to let the communication partner know what it is that the user wants. And 5 more minutes? Okay, sorry, just checking on time, everybody. Okay, let me show you a couple of the other applications we've got on here. So if we move over into type, type is a very simple it's a very simple type-to-speech application. You could see I'm just typing words out here. There's a little bit of word prediction. And then we could just speak that out loud. We can tab back and forth between talk and type. That is often something that a lot of our users will do. So for some of their pre-programmed phrases, they go into talk, but for those who still have their writing skills intact, they'll actually type messages out and try to communicate those out that way. Then for some users who may be more prone to communication breakdowns, we see them using Draw quite a bit. So it's just a built-in whiteboard. And our users are able to really draw things out. So, they could just say, I love you to a family member. They can go online and take images from Google Web Search, incorporate them in there. So this one's really fantastic because it allows our users to, obviously, to communicate and express themselves in a visual way. One of the reasons I think our SLPs really love this one is that they can also actually integrate therapeutic interventions, things like carts and semantic feature analysis by adding some images and then adding some words around them. And then I'm going to show you one more application here. This one is called Media. And media is exactly what you expect it to be. So we have the ability to take pictures and to take videos. We can record audio messages. And, as an older millennial, I can really appreciate this because this is the way my generation really communicates. We could take our images and we can just kind of point to them and share them with the people around us. So here you see David's beautiful family, his pets, a couple of drawings he's done. Very creative. So it's another really great way for someone to communicate. Okay, so just to wrap things up, I'm going to kind of go over everything one more time. So we had 3 learning objectives when we started. The first was to describe a couple of built-in tools on Lingraphica AAC devices that support life participation and engagement. There are many, but to me, 2 of my favorite. So one is Connect, because we've got those Zoom sessions with a community of people with very similar conditions. And the other one is therapy. I think therapy is a really good application for supporting life participation in that it helps people to really create goals and really work towards them. Second learning objective, describe 3 features of Lingraphica that can be modified and personalized for our users. And that one, I think, hopefully very straightforward. So again, going into our settings, we could change the size of fonts. We can change whether we show an image or hide it, the size of our cards, the alignment, and so on. And then finally, we asked you to identify 2 ways that a Lingraphica device user could practice their speech and communication. Many, many ways to do this. I would say 2 of my personal favorites. Again, I'm biased, but I love our therapy application. I just think it adds so much value. I love our news app. If you're like me, you're kind of a doomsday scroller. It's really nice to have our... Oh, did we lose the signal a while ago? Okay. Sorry. So the news application, and then, of course, the draw application, just for being able to communicate creatively. And that's it. So thank you.